This is the origin story of our spin-off series, International Travel with Tony, the Husk Abroad.
The husk
Yeah.
abroad.
Where do we start at? Tony doesn't know how to tip. He doesn't believe in tipping people.
No.
Yeah, though he gives everybody his tips.
Doey gives everybody his tips.
I
Everybody.
don't give everyone, but I do tip.
Explain your tipping philosophy, because we've mocked it so many times in the past.
My
And
tipping-
let's get it out on the table in a safe space where no one's going to criticize your philosophy.
I'm criticizing.
It's a lie. We're
So,
all
like in a
criticizing.
general sense, I'm very nice to the people who handle my food. I'm very courteous, very respectful, things like that. That's like always a one. I'm not tipping a person that's gonna sell me a polo shirt. It's like there's places that I tip and there's places that I don't tip. For most places, it's like food and stuff and people handling my food. That's like a no brainer. Less so when I'm in vacation. I don't really tip too well. But where I live and the places that I'm gonna frequent, I tip very well.
So-
Do you tip at fast food?
When I'm in my area, yeah.
So like
So
a
here-
Dunkin' Donuts, a McDonald's.
It depends, but yeah, sometimes at Dunkin' Donuts, like I'm around my job, I definitely tip the Dunkin' Donut workers. I tip the pizza shop workers. I tip the deli workers, stuff like that. Like only because I'm gonna be there every day, and eventually, it'll make its way back to my pocket somehow.
So,
Hmm.
question then does that change the motivation behind your tipping then? If you are more likely to tip local, are you tipping because you think you're going to get things in the future for free? Like, are you tipping completely for like, oh, when I tip, that means I'm going to get some free drinks in the future. That means I'm going to get hooked up
Oh.
on some food.
Yeah,
Because I tip in general. You remember the last time I went up to New York with you? I think it was 2019, that winter. You remember that bougie bar we went to down in the financial district?
yes,
You remember that chick that Adam and I were
was
there kicking it
cool.
with?
that was
I-
a cool bar.
I tipped the shit out of that chick, but I tip in
Mhm.
general.
Yeah.
But I mean, she did hook us up with a lot of drinks, but that wasn't the reason I tipped. The reason I tipped
No.
is she was awesome to just sit there and chill and talk with.
There's
I
definitely
can't remember the name of that bar, but shout out to Veronica. Remember her name was Veronica with a W. I remember that chick's name.
it was next to the restaurant you guys ate at. With that movie Gangs of New York, one of the gangs
Yeah, it was
names,
It was next to the
Dead
rat. Something.
Rabbits?
Yeah,
Wow. See, I don't even know. I just remember the gang from the movie. Dead
yeah,
Rabbit.
yeah. There
Dead
was a bar.
Rabbits.
There was a bar right next door, and that chick hooked us up. Like I gave her some dice, I think, because we taught her that game, that dice game that I like to play, threes or triples.
Threes is great, but I had fun, man. I enjoyed myself that day.
Dude, we
So you-
sat at this bar in the financial district for like 8 hours drinking, and
Mhm.
I think we walked out paying like $20 each. Like she hooked us up.
Yeah,
So Doey tips out of pure. He's trying to
Selfishness,
min
you
max
could-
what he could get back.
yeah, you
Absolutely,
could
it's selfish.
definitely say that. Yeah,
It's like min maxing what he's gonna get back, right?
Mhm.
That's
And then
interesting.
Mateo's saying that he just tips cool
I just-
people and good servers, and
Also,
I tip good people, chill people. I tip in general. Like I'm not gonna walk out of a bar and not tip, even if you're giving me shitty service. Your tip will probably be a little bit less than someone like that goes above and beyond. But I'm always going to tip.
for sure, I also carry that rule. I if you have good service, mostly.
I mean,
If you
in a
provide
bar,
that-
at a bar for me, the minimum is I'm going to tip $1 a drink. If I'm getting good service, I'm going to go 20% or higher, or like it all depends. I've tipped like 30%, 35% at a bar before because they were killing it. I think
Damn.
Veronica, that chick down in the financial district, she was killing it. She got a heavy tip. I think I tipped her more than I paid at the bar that day.
Yeah, I've given
Really?
a bartender at the end of the night. I've thrown them a like big tip, like $40.
yeah, I am more in line. I think with Mateo's camp. I don't typically tip, and just a caveat that I don't live in the city like that. So I live in Florida. You got to drive everywhere. I feel like the relationships you foster with the restaurants and stuff like that, especially me, I'm like in a college town, the shit is ever changing. It's like every time I go to the bartender, it's like a different student that just got a job there type of shit. So it's just like, but Yeah, basically, I just flat tip everybody like 20%, 15%, shit like that. I'm not like, oh, that service was shit, and then I'm like, oh, she gets 10% or he gets 10%, or oh, like, and then the only time there's some caveats is like if someone gave me really good service, like maybe I'll hit them off with like a little bit extra, or whatever. But
Have y'all ever been out with someone that actually did that super shitty like tipping method where they put like the stack of like dollars on the table? They put like $20 on the table, and they've told the waiter like they're like, "This is your potential tip, but every time I have to wait to fill up my drink or something, I'm going to take $1 off of like." Have you ever actually been with someone? Because I've heard that was a thing, but I've never actually seen anyone do it in person.
That seems like a really shitty thing to do.
Incredibly shitty. 100%.
That's beast.
that's interesting. Is it shitty? So you guys think it's shitty, and Tony, you think it's shitty, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the
So-
same thing as like bringing out a time, like one of those little sands of time thing, and then turning them and be like, yo, if you don't come back and check on me before this ends, it's going to hurt your tip. It's just like putting a time limit or like setting some sort of standard.
It'd be like if we put a shock collar on Tony,
Hmm.
and every time he said something ignorant or made a flat face, we just shocked him remote.
Wow.
Actually,
I think that's
Or-
a good idea.
Or when
Yeah.
he speaks in all caps in text.
like a grandma.
So
No.
to go,
So I think that what are you shaking your head no for?
no,
He
'cause
wanted a chance to defend himself.
I want to put a collar on y'all when y'all interrupt me, especially Doughboy. Every time you want to cut off, zap. I'm zapping the shit out of you. Every time Pucho has a slick comment, I'm zapping the shit out of him.
Wow.
Anytime Mateo wants to troll, I'm fucking zapping the shit out of it. And then I'm just gonna keep zapping Mateo until the battery fucking dies.
Wow. Okay.
But no, I wanted to say before I did the cut and you cut and I cut back in. It was
Oh,
called
no.
France's Tavern, where you guys had the whiskeys and all that. It was I would just Google the image of that bar and
Is
look
it
through.
Water Street? Something like that? Is
Yeah.
Yes, that might be it.
26 Water Street, New York. I searched it up because I was curious on that tavern that you spent 8 hours in. So I just wanted to know.
Let's see where this
Cool.
is.
But tipping.
Yeah, so tipping, right? So you guys think it's very shitty, right? I also feel like there's like a level of like pretentiousness or like beneath you, that you view the waiter or waitress as beneath you. And so, all right, to answer your question, I've never been around anybody who has ever put down a stack of bills and basically gave the waitress like an ultimatum or whatever.
I
But
don't do that.
isn't it kind of cool, like in the sense like they're clearly communicating what they want out of this transaction, as opposed to someone who would just sit there and be pissed off about their service and then just give lesser tip. You're giving a person an opportunity to do better, or to basically reach a goal, so to speak. Whether they want to reach that or not, that's on them.
That's
But it's
arrogant.
like, is it better that you're clearly communicating your desires and then is on the waiter or waitress to choose whether they want to operate in that fashion or not?
That's
I
arrogant.
think it's a real selfish way to go about things. I think
Also,
it's
also, these people do not make that much money to be.
Yeah, that's a
doing
whole
that
other.
thing.
That's a
You know
whole
what I
other
mean?
topic. Like,
so the place was actually called Porterhouse Brew Company.
Yes, I was
looked
about
it up.
to say it.
Porterhouse. Oh,
Porterhouse
damn.
Brew
So
Company. I was
that
about
was
to
not
say
in
it.
the Google search.
So big shout out to Veronica at Porterhouse Brew Company, and hopefully she made it over to Ireland before this pandemic started, because she said she was going to go to their sister location in Ireland, and she was going to spend some time last year bartending there. Big shout out to that chick. That chick was awesome. She was one of the best
I
people
hope
I've met in New York.
I hope she she watches this one day and be like, oh my God, that guy
Doey's
remembers
got
me.
her. Doey's got her on Insta.
Yeah, but that was my old Insta.
Mm.
Damn, Mateo's heartbroken. But no,
So-
so that's I think that's arrogant. Putting a stack of money on the table and be like, listen, this is your tip money. You fuck up, I'm taking $1 every time. I think that's a little dickish. Like
Yeah,
I
I
get
don't
it. You're
disagree.
trying to pass though. Your point is like, give me good service type shit. But if a waitress or a waiter is good, they're gonna give you good quality service. If they're shitty, they're gonna give you shitty. You can make like what I do when I go out and I'm gonna tip.
it's just like
I
this.
tip on-
Imagine you got fired from your job and they didn't really tell you why you got fired. They just tell you, yo, you've been sucking at your job. Wait, could you give me more specifics? And they're just like, nah, overall, you just suck at your job. That would feel way shittier than if they gave you a list of things that they want you to do, and you could clearly see that you failed to reach those goals, and then that's why you're getting the result that you're getting.
But
which world is more desirable?
Putting a stack of paper on a table and telling her that's like a little ridiculous to me. I would say if she fucks up, I'd be like, hey, listen, I just keep the drinks coming, or like, there's a way to approach these waiters or waitresses, right? And with me, if the service is bad in general, and after I'd be like you could tell when it's going to be bad, just how they walk up and how their first interactions is, right? And I could tell it's going to be bad, but I give them a chance. And I'm tipping solely off your service. That's it. Like, if you got shitty service, I don't feel like I need to tip you. That's just how I feel. My wife is in belief that if they're to give them a tip, regardless to a certain degree of how bad they're servicing you, like if they're not disrespecting you and shit or whatever, she feels like you still need to give them a tip because they're trying to live off the tip. Go ahead.
Yeah, philosophically, I'm against tipping, dude. Like, just straight up. Philosophically, I don't think that I should be supplementing the wages of some employer who doesn't want to pay people a fair wage.
100%.
I don't know. So I tip because it's a necessity for people to get a fair wage. But when I went to Japan, these people won't take your tip. Even if you try to give it to them, they'll fight you to give you your money back. They have like an anti-tipping mentality in that country. And then in Europe, they don't give a fuck. Dude, they'll sit your ass at a table, dude, and you'll wait an hour and a half for your food to come out. Like, they don't give a shit. They're just living life. They'll bring you your beers on in a timely manner, and that's about it. That's all they care about. Besides that, they don't really care. They're not coming back to refill drinks every 5-10 minutes. You're not checking in with them about, where the food at? They don't give a fuck because they are getting paid livable wages. They don't need a slave to make your couple extra bucks.
They don't get mad when I go behind the bar and fill up or go in the kitchen and grab my fucking food. I'm a beast. I'm like,
I mean, I never did that, so I don't know. I'm just letting you know that they don't have like the super fast mentality that the waiters and waitresses in America have, because they know that there's people like Tony that say, if I get bad service, if I give bad service, I'm not going to get a tip.
This is the origin story of our spin-off series, International Travel with Tony, the Husk Abroad.
The Husk Abroad.
I'm telling you, bro, like, it's just simple. It's just fucking simple. Like, I'm not going to put money on the table. I want you to give me what you think is a good service. Like, because I used to do, back in the days I used to work at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, I used to host parties. And I would give these people top-notch fucking service. I'm talking about everybody's drinks are filled. Everybody's got food. It's just done at a time. My wife's she was a hostess when she was doing it. She was the best one. But no one likes the tip. But it doesn't matter because each party you do is a different person. You can't bring in that negativity from the party from before into the next. So that's how waitresses and waiters should be. No matter what you're doing, you're having a bad day or whatever, I get that. But at your job, for each different group of people that you're helping or servicing, you got to give them a brand new face and a brand new attitude. You can't bring that shit over, because once you bring it over, now my food don't taste good all of a sudden. Now my drink ain't as crisp as it needs to be.
You're saying that you're capable of bringing a brand new Tony interaction?
Yes, to every party. I've done it.
Tony, when you were working at Chuck E. Cheese, like what were you like wearing the costume when you were doing these things?
I've worn it twice. When
he used to be Chucky a few times.
So you were actually like Charles Edward Cheese himself.
Yes,
the big man.
Now he's
big
skinny,
cheese, if you will.
Now he's skinny.
The Charles.
I don't know what
Senor
the
Charles Edward
Senor Charles.
Senor Queso. That's what I'm gonna start calling him.
That's a respectable.
Or queso for the English speakers on the pod.
Just like that Caballo.
The Caballo. Yeah, that's what my brother, he was listening to the podcast and he was like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with Tony? Why does Tony introduce himself as he says, hey, I'm El Caballo? And then he goes, I'm here with one of my co-hosts, Mateo. He's like, wait, it sounds like you could talk Spanish. Why the fuck does he say his own name as El Caballo?
How would you say El Caballo?
El Caballo.
Nah, see, I don't like that.
So you like the English? You like that you don't? I don't speak Spanish.
He wants me to be El Caballo. Like, no.
Yeah, that's exactly.
El
Not that he
Caballo.
wants you. He's saying when he hears that, he goes, "Damn, Tony can't talk Spanish." And then he goes, "And I'm here con Mateo." And you're like, "Oh, okay,
Con
Tony."
Mateo.
Well, then why the fuck did he say that? Yeah, that was just funny.
El Caballo. Nah, I'm good. El Caballo is fine for me.
So yeah, I wish in this country that waiters and waitresses were paid fair wages, so that I don't have to supplement anybody's wages.
You know what's the
100%.
And
worst?
tips make me circumnavigate even receiving certain services. Like when I go to the airport, I don't utilize baggage service. Like I don't give my bags to people. I just carry my own bags because I don't want to tip people. Like I'm like, fuck it. I'll save my money. I could carry my own bag. So.
The worst thing is too where they slip in the fucking tips on the big party. Like they automatically slip in the tips, and at that point they'd be like the gratuity tip shit, and then they'll give you a space for an extra tip if you want to tip more. Like fuck out of here. I'm not gonna. I just gave you $20 in this gratuity tip that you did for the party. You want another $10-15 more? Like nah, everybody.
See, that one makes sense to me though, because like that gratuity tip is like 20%, which is the bare minimum that you should typically be tipping if you're getting specialized service. And when you have a party of like 20 dudes in a restaurant, you're definitely getting specialized service. You're distracting that woman or that person, that man, whatever, that service person so much from all the other tables that they're having to wait in their section.
You know, the whole 15-20%, the whole I'm not bought into this whole percentage as a tip thing. I think that's also fucking ridiculous. Like you're telling me that if 5 people go to a restaurant and they all order like a cheap ass burger and fries, and that, you know, racks up to like, I don't know, like $60, like they need to pay one amount. And then if I go and buy a big ass fat porterhouse steak with something and like a whiskey, that's also going to be like $70. That I need to pay the same amount of tip as, you know, a party of 5, that there's 5 drinks to fill, 5 orders to fill. Like that, to me, that just seems weird that price dictates how much a person deserves to get tipped.
I think it's got some kind of like some belief that, which is an interesting belief actually. It's got some kind of belief that like the wait staff at a higher end restaurant is more skilled than the wait staff at like a lower end restaurant, right?
Right.
Like, isn't there some amount of that built in? Because you know, a steak at Applebee's is going to cost you about $13. A steak at a steakhouse is going to cost you $60 minimum. Like,
right.
That
If you go
makes
to Ruth
sense,
Chris
though.
versus
Yeah, that makes sense because it's different.
Have you guys been to a little establishment called the Waffle House?
I went there once and I watched a man get stabbed, so I just decided never to return again.
What the fuck? That is
Waffle House would be popping up. You go to the Waffle House at 2 a.m. and shit's gonna go down. All right, like, there's drug deals happening. There's prostitutes selling themselves. You got stabbings. You know,
Did
you
he
got the
stab him
fucking the serving, the waiting staff selling drugs. It gets lit at the Waffle House.
Did he stab him because he didn't tip well? Was the waitress or the waiter the one
The
that
stab
stabbed?
just occurred. I was minding my own business and then a stabbing happened.
Yo, that's insane.
This was 2006. I was in high school. Dude, yo, going out to restaurants back in the day was so fucking lit, yo. I grew up, you know, like we never went out to eat pretty much. Like I remember in New York City, we never went out to eat. Like we would occasionally like order like pizza or get like takeout like Chinese and shit like that, but we would never go out to eat. I remember when we moved to Florida, I don't remember what the fuck the event was, but we went to like a TGI Fridays, yo. And me and my brother were so fucking hyped. We were looking at the menu like in advance. We were trying to scope out. We were like, oh shit, we're gonna get them chicken tenders with fries, yo. The most fucking basic meal you could order, but it was just shit that we never really had before. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. It's kind of interesting, like just the perspectives as you grow. All the interesting things become so basic, and I don't know. It's kind of sad.
It is sad.
It is.
You lose that.
Like that excitement that you had around going to the movies, going to a restaurant, that shit's just gone. That shit's just regular now. Like we need like a reset button. So like every experience is like that first time you took that hit of heroin. You know what I'm saying?
That's what made it.
we had a reset button during the pandemic. I haven't been to a movie theater in over a year at this point.
I went to my first restaurant yesterday.
That's nice.
Was it lit?
Oh,
Did you see a man get stabbed?
I'm lying. I call it a restaurant. We took Leon to like this little splash pad. It's like you know there's water fountains just shooting out of the ground like a water, like it's kind of like a water park, but it's just in a little. There's a regular ass park, and then we just stopped at some place. Lisi wanted ice cream, and so we went to this ice cream shop, and Lisi got an ice cream. I bought a boba tea. First time I had a boba tea, it wasn't even a boba tea because it was a mango strawberry tea with passion fruit poppers. So it wasn't even a tapioca bubble.
There's a lot of twists in this story. Like you got a boba tea, but it wasn't really a boba tea. You went to a restaurant, but it was actually just a splash pad and
ice cream shop that sold the boba tea. Went to a water park, but it wasn't a water park. It was just a regular ass park with a splash pad.
It was just a hose in my yard that I forgot to turn off.
Splash pad. That sounds like what happens when you put Bengay and abanico. It's just a fucking splash pad.
The splash zone.
I thought a splash pad was what we put under Doughy, so that way he doesn't have to get up to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
A bucket. Just a 5-gallon bucket.
That's a puppy pad, man. You got just your pads fucked up.
Y'all just disrespecting my boy Doughboy's bladder like that.
Wow. Tony doesn't tip though, huh?
No, Tony don't tip.
I give
He's
my
like, if
wife
you suck at your job, I'm not tipping you. You're likely to get fired. You're likely getting paid less, and I'm gonna intentionally pay you less.
I know.
The whole concept behind tipping is so fucking it almost exists to say that you're better than someone. It's how, at least maybe not why it exists, but it's like the way that people utilize it. Because like I just straight up blanket tip people. I think there might have been a few times in my life where I'm just like, man, this fucking waiter, waitress, they sucked. I'm not tipping them. But I was like 17 years old. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot.
I'm like past that in my life, like where I'm so fucking, my head is so far up my ass where I feel like I'm gonna like determine who gets to eat based off of my whims.
You was much older when you didn't want to tip somebody.
Excuse me?
You was much older because you said the last time I did that I was like 16 where I didn't want to tip somebody because of bad service. I was like, nah, you was much older because when we went to that Denny's, you, me, and Brian, I think Everett was there.
Nope. And I was not there that day. That
was
your
there?
story. Nope.
Damn.
You, Brian, and Everett went to a Denny's.
Man.
The waitress there gave y'all horrible service, mad attitude, and even gave somebody like a raw egg or like raw chicken or something. I was not present for that.
She didn't give me the creeps.
She didn't give you. Oh, word, yeah. I didn't get my sausage and I didn't get my toast.
Yeah, I want my sausage or my toast.
Give me my toast. That's the fuck. I'm so glad you brought up the creeps.
That shit is.
By the way, for the English speakers, a creep is short for a ripio. A ripio is a penis, and then we're now aligning that with a wiener and saying that it's a sausage. So Tony didn't get his sausage.
Yeah,
he needed sausage and toast. We're calling the sausage a ripio, and then we're shortening the ripio and just calling it a reap.
A reap,
which is also what I call Reaper from Overwatch. My dog Reap.
No, yeah, so it was bad service. She came up, didn't write any of the orders. And Brian was like, yo, do you want to write this down? It's kind of a big order. You might, nah, I'm good. I've been doing this for a minute. And she might have been from New York because as soon as she felt Brian's essence of New York, she was like, oh, you from New York or something. She was just talking. I'm just looking at her like, yo, she better not fuck up my order because how I eat eggs, I need my toast. So I can make sandwiches. I make sandwiches almost out of all my fucking meals.
And I need my toast.
And then the hrip was an extra order because I was like, I don't really want hrip, but I'll take it to put it in with the sandwich and my eggs. The bitch didn't even bring me my toast nor my hrips. I was tight. And Brian and Ever's there laughing. Tony's tight because he didn't get the hrips. He didn't get I'm just like, yo, I just want the sausages, my nigga. Like, that's part of my meal. Let me get my fucking... And then, yeah, it was just terrible.
That's when the hreep talk went to another level, in fact.
Yeah.
They say, Tony loves pile de hreeps.
And at first, it's crazy. Like, at first, I didn't know that they were... that hripio means dick, right? At first, I didn't know that. So when they were like, Tony wants hrips, I'm like, yeah, nigga, I want all the hrips that I ordered, this and that, right? And they're just laughing. And I'm just like, yo. So when we got back to the crib, I'm like, yo, what is hrip? They go, that's dick. I'm like, wow. So y'all were just putting this hripio talk on me. I'm here thinking it's sausages. But whatever. But no, yeah, I didn't tip her at all. If you got a bad service, I'm not tipping it. I can't. I just keep my drinks fresh, keep it coming, and just check. And there's also too much service, right? the constant coming back. Hey, do you need anything? Hey, do you need? Nah, you just asked 2 minutes ago. I'm still good. Hey, like there's a level between that too. So,
Man, that is so much effort to put onto someone that's making minimum wage, though, to try to I don't know. It's a lot of burden that you're putting on someone that's not making a lot of money, that's trying to just make that extra little bit to make their living. I agree with Buchel. Philosophically, I don't agree with tipping because I think that their employers should just pay them a livable wage. One of my favorite bars here in Austin is the Black Star Co-op, and it's a co-op, so there's no tipping at that bar. Beers are a little bit more expensive, food's a little bit more expensive, but the staff is all making a livable wage for Austin. They can actually afford their shit without having to work for Favor or DoorDash or something on the side and supplement their income.
Nuts.
yeah,
That's
nah.
nuts. That's
That-
actually awesome.
And it'd be nice if everything was like that, if people were just making enough to live.
No, yeah. I mean, I think people need to get paid good. You know what I mean? But it also fucks up the economy because now they're going to raise the prices on a lot of other shit. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
the
I think there's
prices
like
of
the. Go ahead though, because I'm gonna go on the whole shit.
I mean, that happened even with COVID. Like, do y'all pay the same amount for groceries, or has groceries gone up for you guys?
milk's gone
I
up
feel
a
like
little bit.
my cost of living has gone down under the pandemic, but
I'm just saying groceries.
sure, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta ask my wife because
Groceries.
she does the fucking phone app grocery game. So
But they
Yeah,
charge
so-
you
yeah,
more
well, I get
during
my
the
shit
phone.
delivered to my house. So I have not been places since the pandemic started.
Yeah,
DC just goes on the website. She goes on Walmart, boop, 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 and we get like maybe 40% of what we order. You'd be like, yo, I want Planters peanuts. They're like, yo, got substitute. You got Walmart brand. We're like, damn. Everything gets substituted, but you know, it's a.
'Cause they don't
But I
wanna
was
go
gonna
look
say
for
though,
it.
the there's a very deep philosophical conversation between what Tony and Mateo just said, which is Mateo said he thinks that everybody should just, it would be nice if everybody got a living wage, and Tony said yeah, it'd be shitty because all the prices would go up.
Well,
And
they're
yeah,
not-
those are like the two trains. What was that? I'm sorry.
wasn't really trying to say it like that because you made it seem like let's not keep them. Like if I'm saying let's not give them too much money because then my cost of living will go up. I'm not saying that. I'm saying pay everybody, but there's a problem that comes with that because then now they're going to raise everything else up. Like so, I'm still down with everybody getting paid, but just know that they're going to raise milk, this or whatever. Like,
Yeah. That type of benefit is going to come with some detriment as well. There's some good that's going to come with that.
But does it though? Does it actually have to come with that increase, or is it just the people up top have this set amount of money they're used to making, and they're not willing to cut into their own personal profits for the betterment of the many? It's a moral philosophy question a little bit in a way too. It's a financial theory, which I am not. That's not my wheelhouse. So I don't know if maybe I'm just grandstanding here on some shit that doesn't even matter.
maybe.
No. I mean, it definitely matters. Like we're talking about people having the agency to make a life for themselves and make decisions, because now any job they get is going to provide them with some, a standard of living. Like for example, I know a couple of people that won't leave a job that they want to leave because that job is coupled with the health insurance that they depend on, or that they have some flexibility with their child and that job, like whatever situation they got with their kid, that job allows them to have some flexibility with their kid, and if they went and got another job, they might not have that flexibility. And it's like it's a very unfortunate situation that people are stuck working certain jobs because it does provide some benefit to their life, and it'd be nice if that benefit was decoupled from where you worked. You know what I mean?
So
And what I was just gonna say about the trains of thought is there's the train of thought of like employers should provide people a living wage, and there's also a train of thought where what we have right now is fine only if the government were to supplement everybody's wages, and it would produce different things, right? Like if you put it all on the employer side, then it's more likely that if all things staying the same, that the cost of goods would go up because the employers would be like, well, I still want the same cut that I had before. If I got to pay everybody extra, then I need to raise the prices in order to keep eating the same way. Whereas if the government was supplementing, it would have different effects, but it probably wouldn't affect the goods in the same manner. There'll be certain goods that'll go up because people are like, oh, well, if people got more money on their hands, they could spend more money. It would be more of like a supply and demand type of thing at that point.
That PS5 is going to be $700 next time, is what he's saying.
I'll pay
Yeah.
it.
But give me that UBI. I want that UBI, dude.